Podcast Bootcamp, Series 2, Number 4. The Podcast Doctor is in. This series of videos are all about how you can do what you do better than the average bear. Thank you, Yogi Bear. I produce a magazine-style podcast each week. I follow the model of a daily newspaper and create departments, chapters, or features. That's what they're called in news lingo. No one really believes in astrology, the influence of the planets on our lives, but it's one of the first things many readers glance at of the daily. The daily horoscope is a feature in your local press, and customarily it's syndicated, and that means it may not be produced locally. The newspaper gets a double bump. It drives readership, and they don't have to produce the content. Features within your podcast by design should benefit the listener. After all, that's what podcasts are all about, your listener. Drive listenership and inform and entertain by exposing your audience to something they may need or want. My audience is strictly local, and I produce restaurant reviews, and just for fun, I created Accidental Foods. I've told the story of buffalo chicken wings, chicken Marengo, and the Earl of Sandwich. I also had a sponsor produce for me 15 tips concerning eating behavior, and I used the same tip on all 3 podcasts for a week. My purpose is to inform and entertain, and I try to do that in equal measures. I leave the preaching to my religious brethren. Producing a recurring feature with a headline or title you can use to tease future program. Remember this: creating a feature which listeners want and like may drive them to share your product with their friends and represents the most elusive quality of podcasting: listener engagement. When next we meet on Podcast Bootcamp Series 2, Number 5, podcast writing is not formulaic, but every podcast needs a format. This has been Podcast Bootcamp Series 2, Number 4, 0309 for identification.